Hey guys, welcome back to the Grant Mitt Podcast, episode number 91. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing the abundance mindset, how to have it and how to keep it. Growing up, I grew up in a middle class family. I never missed a meal, so that was a blessing. But I never grew up around extreme wealth. And I saw, my parents and my family and my dad go through different, tough situations related to job loss, stressing about finances, and a whole other different things that I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced as well. And so that entire time, I was trying to figure out, how am I going to become successful? How do I become one of the first people, that I've known or have been around that had achieved financial freedom? And what do I need to change to do it? And it's one thing if you have had, someone in your direct family that is just absolutely extremely wealthy and you can follow a specific blueprint. But when you don't have it, you have to go out and seek it. Thank God for the internet. Thank God for books. And there's resources out there that you can change your mindset, but it takes work. So, what I want to do is I want to break down simple, tactical, and practical ways that you can implement. And over the next 4 to 8 weeks, can become someone that not only thinks with abundance mindset, but can completely shift the rest of your year to start accomplishing the things that you want to in life. All right. So, the first thing to realize about abundance and success is that the world is lacking nothing. No matter who you are, what you look like, or where you come from, abundance is all around you. And what I noticed is we all live in our own reality, meaning you could take two people that live the exact same life, but could perceive two different realities. One could think it was the best day ever, the other could think it's the worst day ever, just out of their perceptions. Now, instead of just taking the world for what it gives you and living in the box that it chooses to put you in, you have to decide to start viewing the world differently and to start looking for other things to create the reality that you actually want. This takes practice because if you think about it, let's say you're not where you want to be, or you're doing really good, but you want to elevate, you're going to have to change in some capacity to get to this new level. And it's going to take work to reprogram sometimes decades and decades worth of beliefs and experiences and thoughts that you've had. So the first example, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard this, is just the red car theory. If I ask you, no matter what time of the day you're listening to this podcast, how many red cars did you see today? You would probably maybe remember one or two. You may not even really remember any car unless it was a specific dream car that you really notice. But if before this podcast, I posted somewhere or texted all of you guys and I said, hey, I want you guys to take a picture of every single red car that you see from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And each one that you take a picture of, I'm going to give you $1,000 if you can send me proof. If that was the case, I would probably have 100,000 emails of red cars right now in my phone. But I don't. Why? Because no one was really thinking about it. Maybe you're in the middle of a work break. Maybe you're relaxing. Maybe you just got a workout done. Maybe you're just at your house and you're just living your normal life as you should. But these red cars were always around you the entire time. You just really never noticed it because your brain didn't start filtering those. And because your brain has a reticular activating system, which chooses what your brain picks up and recognizes, we are consistently every single day choosing our own reality. My message to you is to start looking for the red cars. Start looking for abundance. Even if you're in the worst time of your life, you're going through financial stress, you're having problems in relationships, business, whatever, there's still abundance around you. And there's somebody that's in your same position that is absolutely killing it and doing incredible. You just have to change the way you view things. Okay. So a next thing I learned, and this is what I learned more than anything is being an entrepreneur and a business owner, is our problems rarely come from a lack of resources, but they rather come from a lack of resourcefulness. Every change that completely altered my business and growth and scaled anything that I was doing rarely came from me putting more money into the business or having some type of resource. It almost always came through a creative strategy, a change in our strategy, a change in the way that we hire, a change in the way that we change a part of our pitch when our sales reps are going to talk to customers. It was always something so small that I remember about 2.5 to 3 years in, me telling my brother, man, if we only knew, these basic things 3 years ago, we would be 100 times bigger. We would have never dealt with all of those problems and those mistakes. And it's always around you, but you have to be careful at what type of problems and what things you're focusing on. A good way to do this, and I'll give a breakdown of kind of how to, tactfully have a abundance mindset and implement it into your life and your career, is right now we all make our decisions, like the decisions you're going to make today, the problems that you face and the way that you react to it is going to be based on the information that has been entered into your brain. The experiences you've had, the traumas you had, the people that you've worked for, the books that you read, the things that you consistently see on social media and the videos that you watch. That's shaped and programmed your brain and your subconscious to think a specific way. So if we just look at this from a common sense standpoint, if nothing changes and you just continue to live your life, you're essentially going to continue to have the same level of problems and generally pretty close to the same amount of success that you've always had. Which means if you don't change what is actually entering your brain, the way you react to the problems and situations you face won't change either. So a simple thing to do, and this is something I've always tried to do anytime I'm in a situation, I'm in an uncomfortable growth period, I don't like the way things have gone over the past couple weeks or months or whatever the case is I'll take 3 days to pull away from the world. Don't hang out with anybody, maybe only talk to close immediate family. If you have the money, take a quick vacation solo, or even just kind of just lay low for a weekend, long weekend. And start controlling the things that enter your brain and be very purposeful with every single thing you do. Don't just randomly scroll on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Just don't randomly watch stuff. Figure out what type of person you want to become and think about what life and what things does that individual think about and consistently see every single day. And then control those things. Simply go read the books that version of yourself would read. Go to the places that person would go to. Think the thoughts and the experiences that they would have, even if it is a complete opposite of what you currently live. Let's say you live in complete lack. Act like, talk like, walk like you're in complete abundance and you're successful and your business is thriving. Act like it, think like it. And what happens is your brain is going to start reacting differently. And I'm not saying this one thing is going to alter your entire life, but it's going to tip the scale towards that direction. It's going to start moving things in the right direction. And it's to start a habit and to actually show you how quickly things change. What you'll notice after this 3 to 4 day period is the way that people talk to you is going to be different. The people that you start attracting very subtly. You could be in a hotel lobby. You could be at a restaurant. You'll notice you'll start having these different conversations with a little bit different people. Not necessarily better or worse, but it'll just be different. And let's say you're in sales, you're in business. The type of customers that will start appearing will be different. Because energy is it's interesting. It attracts the same thing. It attracts like, and it attracts that similar type of person, similar type of environment. So you can notice how that starts shifting. In the same sense, think about the last time you had an incredible month at work. Incredible, everything was going great in your family. You had a good relationship. It was like you were just lucky. Do you notice the way that people started treating you? When you went to a random restaurant, or when you're at the airport, or when you were calling on customers, you notice even the people that didn't buy from you treated you well. You notice everywhere you went, people were just a little bit nicer. But you also notice, I want you to think about a time that you were having a really, really rough patch in your life. You just got laid off, you were having a stressful situation, you were going through a breakup. Do you notice that everything that you went upon, you're driving in the car and people are honking at you, flicking you off? Or you're calling people and it's like every person you talk to doesn't have time and is rude. And this is interesting. And we have to be conscious of the way that we're feeling because we are the common denominator in all these situations that we face. And this is why it's important to be conscious and tactical about how we're going to view and think about things to put ourselves in the right situation. All right. So here's 3 simple things that you can do to create an abundance mindset. All right. Number 1, you cannot change who you are or where you are without changing who you are. Okay. And this is important, but you can't do this until you have radical acceptance of your current situation. We spend a lot of time being miserable, not because of what we're experiencing, but because we are wishing that it's different. Let's say you got laid off, or you're going through a really difficult situation, or you have a lot of debt and you want to get out of it and you want to create abundance in your finances. Until you fully admit the exact situation that you're in and hold yourself accountable for it, not blaming other people, not wishing it was different, but accepting it completely, you cannot move forward. It's like when they deal with people who are alcoholics or drug addicts. They always say the first step is admitting that you have a problem. Okay, so wherever you're at, just admit it. Kind of just say, F it. It is what it is. This is where I'm at. I have to change. And typically when you do this, and you'll remember when you do it because it's a decision. It's not a thought process. It's not this orchestrated event. It's just a decision. You'll notice that you just have a massive sigh of relief. You just don't, I don't want to say you don't care, but you don't care about where you were. You just accepted it. It is what it is. And you move forward. And that's when change starts happening. Okay, number 2, start changing how you perceive the world, okay, by choosing what you choose to see. So, like, I'm going to give you an example, all right? I want you to try this test. I want you to find, I wanted to say 10, let's say 3. To the rest of your day, or if it's at night tomorrow, I want you to find 3 things that have absolute abundance, that have nothing to do with you. Meaning you're driving and you see a dream car, or you see a family that's just unbelievably happy and they're at this incredible restaurant. Or you see someone on Facebook that just got their dream job or just graduated school and, got really good grades, or they just got married, or something really good happened. And when you see it, I just want you to recognize it. If it's someone that you know accomplished something, I want you to celebrate them as if it was your own accomplishment. When you start celebrating others, that's when abundance kind of just starts surrounding you. And I don't know if it's a test from God or it's just the way life is, but it's just an interesting thing that it's almost like a test in life that can you celebrate others and not have a jealous eye when they accomplish things maybe that you want to. And I've noticed every time I've been around really successful people, they're always rooting for other people's success. You tell a billionaire that you just made $100 million, he's going to be the happiest person ever, probably buy you a drink. People who have abundance and experience it know that they're lacking nothing. It doesn't matter. So if people around you are becoming successful, that not only means it's possible, but that means you're around the right people, and that's who you need to surround yourself with. Celebrate them like it is your own. This is so important. And practice this, okay? 3, set up filters to protect your mindset and perspective. Just living your life and being a good person and working hard is not enough to perform at the highest level. You have to curate a reality that you see. A lot of this can do with simple things like choosing who do you follow on social media. By simply unfollowing, blocking, or you can actually on Instagram, for example, if you see a reel or a post that you don't like, you can click on it, and you can actually say that you're not interested. So the algorithm will respond to it and stop showing you those things. All the algorithms on all of our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those different things, their job is simple. It's to keep people coming back to the site. So the algorithm shows you what you engage with, look at, and share most. So if you only like, share, and comment on things that are extremely toxic, even if you're mad or you don't like it, the algorithm goes, oh, this user comes on our site more when it sees these types of things. So the site is simply going to start showing you these things more. So we can actually become a self-fulfilling prophecy and sabotage our own mindsets. So I mean, for example, I have a rule like every 3 months, every quarter or so, I go through and I remove the wrong people and I make sure that I'm not investing time in things that don't make me better. They don't make me a better CEO. They don't make me a better, brother, son, friend, whatever the case is. And remove those things. Next thing is where you spend your time. Where you spend your time, every place has energy. You can feel it. If you guys have ever walked into a hospital or if you've ever been to a funeral, you know how it feels. If you've ever been to a huge soccer or football game or baseball game or basketball game, a playoff game, you know the difference in the energy. If you've ever been to a really, really nice restaurant or a really, really bad restaurant, you can notice the way people are, the way people are dressed, and the experiences that they're having. It is important to always put yourself in the right environments. And if that means not going anywhere because, for a little bit until you improve your finances or your situation and just staying home, but making it a very peaceful environment, this is key. I learned this from my mom early on, is she had a rule, because early on there was a lot of fighting in my house and it really improved and changed. My mom had a rule, it's like there will be no strife in this house, especially in the morning. So she went out of her way to make sure that we had peaceful mornings, because if you don't have a peaceful morning, it's going to be hard to have a great day. And so protect your household. Don't just let anybody in there. Don't invite people over that have bad energy, that are not good people or don't do the right things. It will infect you and it will change the way that you think. Last is people. If you surround yourself with 5 positive, successful people, you'll be the 6th almost every time. Be conscious of people who only talk about other people, who only gossip about others. They don't discuss ideas. They don't discuss amazing places and exciting and future things and positive things. Those types of people that do say those positive things will affect you and it'll make you more successful. Every time I spend time with one of my friends that is ahead of me, I kid you not, it's within like 3 to 6 months, my income just shoots through the roof. My success, my creativity, my strategies. And I think all it is just seeing that it's possible. And you should strive to do this. And the first question that you might get when you hear that is, well, Grant, like, what if you don't know those people? Well, I was in that exact case only 4 or 5 years ago. And what I did is I simply just studied and listened to the smartest people in the world. I listened to all their interviews, their biographies, their books. I listened if they hadn't, made content on YouTube, which not all of them does. I listened to it so much that it was almost as if I knew these people. So think about it. I was so conscious of what was going into my ears that I was curating it with the right information that was going to create this next version of myself. And that's how you have to do it. You have to be conscious. All of you guys, if you're listening to this, you're likely extremely talented, focused, and you want better for yourself. But it's not just going to happen because you're a nice person or because you have talent. Some of you have enough to make $500,000 a year or 6 figures or be the most successful person in your friend group or the area that you grew up in. But if you want to really, really push the envelope, it's going to take calculation. It's going to take thinking like a different person and elevating yourself like you never have before. So I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. As always, you guys can find me on all my social media channels at Grant Mitt. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. The link's going to be below. It's completely free. Other than that, I hope you guys have an incredible week, and I'll see you guys again for episode 92. Thanks, guys.